Well, thank you, Beatrice, for inviting us to be part of the World Around. Great place to be at this modern masterpiece. I am Lyndon, Neri, and this is my partner, Rossana Hu. Our short talk today will focus on the prefix re. Re is a crucial prefix today because it signifies the abstract idea of do again, reflect, re-edition, recycle, regenerate, reimagine, and many other re's that you can think of. Many of our projects fall under the category of adaptive reuse and forces us to confront the complex questions of history, heritage, identity, and culture. The rapid growth in China's urbanization have created unprecedented speed of construction and vast development. You can kind of see in that image, both in the Qujiang's film and the photograph by Nadav Kandar of this particular condition. 1 out of 6 families in China have been evicted and relocated since 1990s. Again, those conditions are quite clear in both Kandar's photograph and Jiazangke's film, Still Life. Naturally, with the rapid growth, urbanization starts to change the landscape of cities and altering the texture of daily life, giving rise to new notions of urban life. In fact, the title of these photographs are called Sunday Picnic, Sunday Afternoon, quite interestingly enough. This is not just an urban problem. On the rural side, China's vernacular villages, which is a very important part of the family construct of China, has been seriously threatened from 3.7 million villages to 2.6 million, an average of 300 villages per day the last 10 years from 2000 to 2010. It has stabilized since then because there's this renewal and understanding that perhaps the rural construct is a very important aspect of the country. There are 4,000 cultural relics deemed as intangible cultural relics in China. 80% of them are in the rural area, and yet nothing has been done to many of these. You can kind of see in this image, empty chairs here represent an absent family members who has left the village to pursue opportunities in cities. Only 47% of rural migrants are willing to return to their farms. In fact, as of 2 years ago, it has come down to about 35%. Only 3% among those born after 1990. Circling back to the city that I was talking about, Michael Wolff's photography that captures this alarming trend of urbanization producing anonymous cities and the disappearance of personality. Image on the right is our home, a typical Shanghai alleyway, the threshold between tradition and modernity. How do we confront the past, this history, working in such a city, such a state? How do we confront the past, this history that must also look towards the future and bring the city to its future? This is the context in which we intentionally practice. As a practice, we are constantly trying to insert meaning into our projects from these contexts, both geographically and historically.
To show how our office began that exploration that Lyndon just talked about within that context, I'm starting with the Urban Renewal Project, a Japanese police headquarters from the 1930s, originally ready for demolition, was reconsidered. And that started as a ruin, a reconsideration of a ruin, like a muse that elicits visceral experiences to reconnect the city to its past. It's not so much about saving any history, but just that a useless remnant could be somewhat reused. Can we bring up the music just a bit? And this is that main entry door, and after you enter, you arrive at the lobby in this 19-room boutique hotel. Calvino wrote in Invisible Cities, arriving at each new city, the traveler finds again a past of his that he did not know that he had. The foreignness of what you no longer are or no longer possess lies in wait for you in foreign, unpossessed places. The architectural concept behind the renovation rests on a very clear contrast of what is old and what is new, also blurring of the interior and the exterior, blending the public and private realms, creating a disorienting and yet refreshing journey. Each of the 19 rooms are uniquely different in size and layout and the view it offers. And the building sits on the Huangpu River, so that there's an additional fourth and roof level that are made in corten steel. And that's the view that you see into the river, echoing this industrial ship, echoing the different industrial ships that frequently pass by. It's a busy and working port city. And what you see across is the Pudong area. The roof garden, shown here, overlooks that Pudong high-rises and grows also herbs for the garden, for the restaurant below. These courtyard shutters are made from recycled wood found on the existing rooftop. And we made different visual connections of unexpected spaces, not only to help one discover and explore, but also to provide some kind of a flexibility to the interior functions. From ramps that move up and down the atrium, one gains unconventional perspectives into other territories. This may have compromised the room interior, because the rooms are smaller, but this encourages guests to wander out of their private rooms and promote more chance meetings of people like you would in a city. And you will here find lots of stairs, some stairs that lead to nowhere, and it's a way to remind guests that the history of this building and also the city is very much like wandering around the stairs. And if you find nothing there, don't worry, just leap up another flight of stairs. That's a quote by Kafka. The project we really want to dwell on today is a project in Qingpu, Yangzhou. It's a retreat. In contrast to the Waterhouse, this is a scenic rural town in Yangzhou. The site looks like this. It's long dilapidated by the time we got it. And the program was to design a 20-room wellness retreat. So we studied some vernacular conditions, and we chanced upon a nearby relic called Geyuan. This is a crucial reference because it's a private garden that's found in the city, built by a salt merchant, and it's a manifestation of the Taoist ideal of being one with nature. And here you see that the kind of nice square traditional organization of a Jiangnan garden area. And the most dramatic feature is this one, the fire lanes. It's deemed as auspicious because in the sound of the fire lanes, it means rising in ranks and also getting rich. And from vernacular architectural elements like these to moments of framing, that's how we establish this project.
So the design brief called for adapting to the footprint of previously demolished buildings, meaning although the buildings are no longer there, we were mandated by the planning board to keep the foundation of the existing building. This was the existing site plan that we inherited, and with the salt merchant's house inspiration, we actually integrated the grid within the particular site, and thus our new intervention. Aerial view with adjacent ponds and waterways become part of the total landscape. We were able to borrow views way beyond the perimeter walls. Many of the building roof lines are confined within the heights of the wall, just low enough so that they are not visible from outside the compound, as you can see in this next slide. This wellness retreat in Yangzhou is built on literally a ruined site, as one would argue, on the footprints of numerous demolished buildings. Recycled bricks from neighboring villages were used throughout the building. You arrive here from the entry, from the parking lot, then enter to the few courts, the more public component of the project, and then the general, more private initiative. You enter the covered walkway or alleys reminiscent of the traditional Yangzhou houses. From the walkway, you enter into the public spaces like the outdoor theater as seen in here, also the water garden, the bamboo garden. You can go through with the alleyways that we just showed you a while ago. This particular image is one of the courtyard, the main entry, where you enter. To the left is the reception, the interior of the reception with a lot of the furnitures that were made locally. Viewing from above, you see the structure within the gridded walls. Above the walkways, you see the structure within the gridded walls. Some public spaces, the dining hall outside, other amenities that supports this particular building in itself, extra rooms confined within the walls itself. One of the semi-courtyard spaces, this particular condition are interstitial spaces between the walls and the rooms. As a practice, we also believe in the multidisciplinary practice of architecture, and therefore a lot of the furnitures, all the built-in conditions were made locally, sometimes very frustrating because a lot of the craftsmen think they know better and they don't read working drawings. So it was quite a challenge, but with those challenges comes this beautiful terrazzo bathtub, for instance, and many amenities, recycled bricks that are done with different patterns, create different shadows and light condition that made all the walkway quite different and quite romantic in the process. Also noteworthy, the patterns that we were talking about are from different villages, so you can imagine strangers that would come and look at the brick and recognizing the fact that they are part of a reassembled condition within the project. So we start with this aerial view where you see a clear orthogonal orientation. The gridded walkways are inspired by the firelines, as Rossana just described to you. They work to organize zones, guide circulation, define and wrap functional spaces within. The adjacent ponds and waterways become part of the total landscape. It's like the act of borrowed views from the Jiangnan garden design strategy. Nearly the entire project is composed of recycled bricks collected from surrounding villages and are reassembled on site as pathways, connecting buildings, land, views, and people. By dispersing reclaimed materials, the act of destruction of another relic becomes part of the new building and gives fresh relevance to the discarded construction waste. Dispersion in this project applies to the spatial organization, since all the courtyards are scattered within the matrix of the walled grids. These functional spaces are dispersed and contained at the same time, creating a landscape approach where the visitors experience unfolding vignettes that recur episodically throughout their journey. Thresholds are less defined, boundaries less clear, blurring the lines between inside, outside, public, private, the old and the new. The concept of recycle, reflect, readjust, all are very much in line within this concept, within this project. They also form a new kind of garden, one that defies the Jiangnan garden heritage, in revealing the paradox of the artificial organic, blurring the zone between natural and man-made. We saw this project as a chance to recast a new vernacular within the rural context, rooted in the past, but ushering the future in a critical way. Wow, I have 34 seconds to relax. It's pretty amazing. So as we close on this film, given the fact that we are the first in line to do this world around, starting from China, I'm sure you're going to end up in some other countries by the end of this talk. Sarah Whiting challenges the term adaptive reuse in the article she wrote on our projects in Domus magazine, offering another term, seamless synthesis, as her preference to mean something that unlocks intellectual horizons and other worlds with particular magical precision. Circling back to the prefix "ri," or in Chinese, 在, we want to propose specially in the post-pandemic world to reassess our values, redefine our priorities, and rediscover the true meaning in what we do with architecture, interior design, product design, and all of designs. Thank you very much.